Everybody say hello. Everybody. Hello. Hey, this is Matt. I'm here up in Blue Ash at the Tri-State Machine Tooling Association, and I am doing a little speech on social media, so I'll turn the camera around. There's a beautiful crowd of people right there, all ready to learn. So, a little background on myself is I've been in the business for, I guess, marketing since 1999. I've been on a couple sides of the equation. I've owned a boat and RV dealership for 10 years, so I know what it's like to the pain of spending money and never seeing anything from it. I also know the great part when you get food, and she's walking by me with steaks, and this is brutal. But I've been in the business since then. I've been in marketing. I've owned small businesses. I own a gym now as well as 2 marketing agencies. I speak around the country. I've been to 5 places this year already, and I'll be in a couple places next month. I'm an author in the restaurant space for marketing for restaurants. We have a program for that. And then I've got about 200 advertising agencies around the world that I teach how to do what I do. Just yesterday, I was on a live event with a lady in Belgium, Els. So it's pretty cool to work with people around the world and talk about a lot of the similar qualities. The biggest thing I talk about and I deal with mainly is not even social media as much as digital marketing, digital footprint, how to get exposure, how to drive traffic, how to gain recognition. So I don't know what you all want to hear. So what I'd like to do is find out maybe a couple questions, because I could talk for 3 hours. And I could talk for a lot of things, but maybe if there's a couple points that you're looking for, somebody wants to raise their hand, like something you're curious about using social media, or maybe even a couple things about who's in the room, because there's going to be a lot of different applications of how I use it for my agency, how a manufacturing company could use it, how our politicians can use it. So, yes, sir. Okay, so a business. Now, is this from like an executive, or is this from your company? Okay, perfect. Marketing, okay. So one of the biggest misconceptions about social media, especially B2B, is that you need to be on LinkedIn only, that people are not on Facebook. Who in here has a Facebook account? And now you're not on Facebook for business for the most part. You're on there to see your grandkids, your kids, your mom, your dad, all that good stuff. The biggest misconception about Facebook is that people don't realize you can use Facebook from a business standpoint. And a lot of what I preach about social media, like this right now, is being broadcast live on my personal page, on my business account called Matt Plapp. It's a public figure page. So I have a Matt Plapp that's a business. I have a Matt Plapp that's a person. They look really similar, and there's a reason behind that. But one of the things I found in marketing me, because I'm similar to you, I market B2B. I don't deal with consumers. I deal with CEOs of companies, executives, is using Facebook more than I use LinkedIn to reach those people. Because a couple things. Number one, if you can show a different side of you, it helps the relationship. It helps foster the relationship. I hear from a lot of my clients when they eventually find me and build a relationship digitally, is that they appreciate, they see the side of me with my kids, skiing down a ski slope, whether it's my business page or it's my friend page. So there's a huge advantage there using it. Now, if I had to rank how I would use business, number one is Facebook, hands down. Especially for this crowd, I would imagine you're dealing with mostly 35 plus, and 35 plus is all over Facebook. My mom and dad are big on Facebook in their 70s. 90% of my clients who are 55 to 65-year-old men and women are on Facebook. Everybody's on it for different reasons. And they always joke in the business, nobody goes to Facebook with their credit card out. Nobody goes on there to see what their friend does business-wise. But just the other day, a friend of mine reached out. I didn't know what she had done. I hadn't talked to her in 20 years. She reached out and said, hey, Matt, the CEO of our company wants to talk to you. I'm like, where do you work? And she told me, and they have a lot of restaurants nationwide. I said, what made you reach out? I watch your videos all the time. I see how you market yourself, and I try and market me. I show myself as a father. I show me as the moron that I am, having fun and doing stuff. Out skiing backwards down ski slopes, stuff like that. But then I show the business side like this, where I talk about what I do so that you educate who's around you. Because most people don't realize on Facebook, you're talking to people you went to high school, college, you grew up with. The vast majority of them do what you do. And I'm blown away by the number of my friends on a monthly basis that will reach out to me that I would have never assumed what they did. They're like, oh yeah, my uncle owns 20 restaurants. And so the people who are buying your products, the people who are looking for jobs in your industry are on Facebook, and it's a matter of connecting with them. And so it's a great way to educate your sphere. LinkedIn is great too. The problem I have with LinkedIn is it seems like people are on there mining it way too much. People get on LinkedIn like me. I get 5 to 10 connection requests a day. I have a rule of thumb of how I accept them, and then a message I send back to find out who they are, what they want. 2 or 3 of them every day, it's automatic. I don't know if you've noticed this. When you accept a request, you get a reply really quick, really long. That's called a bot. That is an automated response. And right there, I know that's not a person I want to connect with because all they're trying to do is sell me. I'm interested in LinkedIn and Facebook from a business standpoint, relationship building, not as much sales. Twitter, I wouldn't worry about. I think Trump's the only person that uses Twitter, and you can see that hasn't helped Twitter with all the exposure he's given them. Snapchat and Instagram, not really for this crowd, but Facebook would be where I'd spend a lot of time. And a lot of people struggle with that because they don't want to get on Facebook and talk. People struggle in front of camera. How many people in here ever done a video on Facebook? Couple. People struggle with it. And I tell you what, it's the most powerful tool you have. You know how much Facebook is charging me right now to do this video that'll probably get about 800 views in the next 2 days? 0. When I get done with this video, I'll download it to my camera roll. I'll upload it to YouTube. You know how much YouTube's going to charge me to put that video on there? 0. I'll upload it to LinkedIn. 0. It's free marketing. And it's not about really talking about, like, I won't have a sales pitch in this. It's about educating, about informing, so that when people are in meetings like this in a week and somebody says, oh, we've got this problem in our machining, they go, oh my gosh, a buddy of mine just actually shared a video the other day about that. Pretty sure he does that. So does that kind of help you answer the question? Yes, sir.
What about when you're going through your Facebook feed and you see exactly what you Googled 2 weeks ago? And
Yep.
You're like, why is that happening?
So that is actually one of the best features of any internet marketing. It's called retargeting or remarketing. It actually, Facebook denies it, but it also is hooked up to your microphone. They'll tell you that it won't happen, but I can tell you I've had conversations with people, and you say, hey, did you know about the new X0395 stimulating machine tool? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I get on Facebook, and there's an ad for it. I'm like, oh. So Facebook denies that your microphone is on, but it's how it is. It's called retargeting. The concept, the easiest way to understand it and understand the advantages of it is to go to AutoTrader and look up a very specific vehicle. Look up a 2017 white Chevy Suburban with a sunroof, a DVD player, rear captain's chairs, and the towing package. And I can promise you, the next day you're going to see an ad from McCluskey Chevrolet, from Tom Gill Chevrolet, and so what it is it's behavioral targeting. So it's a really cool tool because, like this video, for example, one thing that's really cool about Facebook, why I do video, is that this video will end up being, let's say, 20 or 30 minutes long. I can go in tomorrow and create an audience and say, hey, Facebook, anybody that watched 50% of this video, I'm going to run an advertisement to them on how to learn Facebook ads. Here's a link to buy a book I have. I know that if somebody watched 50% of this 30-minute video, they're probably pretty engaged. And so it allows me to get rid of the fat. Like you got your steak there, it allows me to cut down and get right to the middle of the steak. And so that's called retargeting. And it's a powerful product because you can retarget visits to your website. You can retarget like this place. This place might have a page on their website for company events. If they're smart, they've got a pixel on their website. And then in turn, they have the pixels tied to the catering page, the event page. They could run an ad on Facebook or on Google saying anybody that visited in the last 60 days, 90 days, whatever you want, our event and catering page, show them this call to action ad. So instead of running an advertisement and saying, hey, I want to reach these 10,000 people in Cincinnati that are business executives, I want to reach these 400 that visited our event page on our website. So it's a lot more efficient way to do it. That was a big thing why Facebook got in so much hot water with the election. It wasn't that they did anything wrong. It's that the politicians found a lot of loopholes and the wrong person won in that case, and it caused a big stink. But political uses Facebook to the highest level. I mean, they always have.
Does that cost money? Or
Yeah.
so Embassy Suites has I'll put, they cost so much that if someone goes to my website, I'll make it go to their Facebook.
Yeah, so I mean, you can spend up to $1 or little as $1 a day. There's actually a thing in the industry called the $1 a day method. A guy named Dennis Yu, I think he's in Arizona, created. And it's a philosophy that if you create enough good content and you put $1 a day behind it, and every day you do a different one, and you have $30 a day being spent on this, or $30 a month, then kind of rotate it through a different series of ads, you're reaching the right people. I mean, think about it. You guys all have websites. I'm going to guess that like what you do for a living isn't as searched as a restaurant, as Buffalo Wings Rings a block from here. So if somebody's on your website and then they're on Facebook looking at a funny goat video, and all of a sudden your ad pops up. It's not about the ad as much as it's about the recognition, because a lot of people don't realize that possibility. Yes, sir. Best practices? Yeah. Yeah, so the question was about email, some best practices, some of the softwares you use. We use a lot of them. We have accounts with Constant Contact, MailChimp, a company called Drip. Drip is a unique one. Most of the email companies are kind of one lane. You send an email, somebody looks at it, they either do something or they don't. Drip, imagine if you took a tree and ripped it out of the ground and turned it upside down, and you poured water down the trunk, and there's all these branches that water is going to go on. Drip is a automated email program that allows you to take people down different paths. So let's say, for example, you send Constant Contact, you send an email and there's 5 topics. One might apply to hiring, one might apply to steel, one might apply to automation in the factory, one might apply to this. Everybody sees it, people click, and they go on their way. Drip would allow you to take that email and segment it. So now all of a sudden, Matt Platt clicks this link and hear about machine automation. The next day, I get an email about machine automation, a little more detailed. So it allows you to have a little more in-depth conversation. But email still works. Email, we see anywhere from 15 to 25% open rates for most of our clients. The problem most people do with email is they use it incorrectly. There's a lot of best practices. Don't call it a newsletter. Don't sell. Don't put too much. I had a charity send me one the other day that, no lie, had like 30, like the only reason I looked, it had like 30 topics. I had like a sprained elbow from scrolling on my phone. And so you've got to think about who you're sending it to and what you're trying to accomplish. What I tell most of my clients, if you're going to use email, have 3 topics. 3 topics, just like a newspaper. Imagine if every time you open the newspaper, there was no headline, it was just a giant paragraph. You would never look at the article. But you look at the headline, you look at the subheadline, you determine if you're going to read the article. And so your email should be similar. 3 topics and 3 different topics so that you can segment your audience. Because one thing you can do with any email program is you can do what's called click segmentation. The people you want to have a conversation with, or maybe even follow up from a sales standpoint, are people that clicked. So like, what do you do for a living? What's your company do? Walk in front of the food again. What kind of business do you guys do? What's a client for you? Okay. So let's say you have an article in there about some new technology in defense manufacturing, and you have it for the U.S. Navy, you have one for Army, you have one for Marines. I don't know if there's a difference there, but let's say you have that. Somebody that clicks topic A about that versus something about material handling is a completely different person. It might be interested in something different. So it allows you to see that and understand who should follow up with them. One of the things I've done, I don't do it a whole lot now because I don't have a need to, but I've got a few companies that I work with that have sales forces that the email is segmented in 3 reasons, because 3 different people see what clicks happen. So when they send out a 10,000 person email and 50 click that first topic, they've got a person that follows up with those people. Those companies don't realize they're calling for that reason. They call them and all of a sudden, like, oh my gosh, I was just looking at your email. You were? I didn't know that. So that's a good one. Don't put too much in there, and you need to drive them somewhere. All marketing, in my opinion, should be done to create data. So for example, this video, I've got people watching it right now. It looks like 10 people are watching it. So I'm creating data because I can now retarget those 10 people with something tomorrow or the next day. Your email should be driving people to your website or to a blog article specifically on that topic so that you can now retarget those people in a different manner with an ad on Facebook or LinkedIn or Google based on them visiting that article. One thing you don't want to do is send them to a generic place. I got an email the other day from Infinity. We're actually looking at a new Infinity for my wife. And I get an email from them and it's got their 3 models. She has a QX80, which is the big giant SUV. And she wants another QX80 because she likes hitting deer with them apparently. If you're watching, sorry honey. But I get their email. They have a thing about the QX80. I click the QX80. Guess what it goes to? It goes to a page with 172 different vehicles. Guess what? The last 2 on the entire, I kept scrolling just for the heck of it because I wanted to see where it was. The last 2 were the QX80. Huh. Why would you send me to a place with 170, send me to the page with a QX80. So that's one thing, a big thing in your email. Most of the email providers are similar. They charge differently. MailChimp will charge on subscribers, constant contact, number of sends or whatever, vice versa actually. So there's not a whole lot of different there. It just comes down to understand your audience, look at your metrics. That's a big thing too. Don't just send an email every month and not look at it. It's like having a profit and loss sheet. No use in doing a profit and loss. You're not gonna look at it and see where you can make it better. Look at your email and say, okay, we sent this email last month on Monday at 2 o'clock and it got this open rate, these click rates. We sent it this month on Tuesday at 10 a.m. and it did better. Okay, cool, let's do that. And then look at the topics and figure out what topics get attention. I have found in my videos that I send, or my emails I send, videos get the most interaction. So every email I send, the first header has a video link to a YouTube or a Facebook video. So number one, I looked and saw the stats of that people clicked that. And so when they go and watch that, and actually ironically, funny videos get a lot of attention. Probably wouldn't work in your business, but in mine it does.
So I have a client or someone that I work with say that if we switch over to, say, HubSpot, and it attaches analytics to it, he changes it to an HTML, and that's A, not everybody can read it, and secondly, because of the way that works, it throws it to most people's spam. So we'll actually get worse results if we're sending out through some of these different, is that true?
The HTML part I don't know. There is some providers that are blocked. Like Procter & Gamble, a while back, I don't know if they still did, they had certain servers were blocked. They didn't want their employees on that product. So any email that comes from that server was blocked from getting in.
Okay.
So yeah, that does exist. Another thing that brings up when you mention HTML, always look at your emails on a desktop and a phone. When you're creating an email, like my brother did, he works part-time for me, created a great looking email, looked gorgeous on a phone. I went to a computer, it looked terrible. And we look at the stats, 51% of the opens of our past emails are on a computer.
Okay.
So you gotta look at both. But yeah, there are some differences. None of them have a ton better than any. I mean, Google probably has the best deliverable rate. So like some of the stuff I do automation, I send through an automated tool, which would confuse you all. It's called Zapier. But it allows me to send one-off emails through my personal Google account.
Right.
And that allows for better deliverable.
And that's what I was told to do,
Yeah.
to start a whole different email address and send it that way so it would get a better delivery.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the biggest thing to think about email, where a lot of people go wrong, email, and like I'm really big on Facebook Messenger. It's a huge automation tool you can use. I use for my business. I just had somebody on the way here set an appointment through Facebook Messenger with me, through my Google Calendar. They got a text and an email automation already. It's in my calendar. It's all done. They got the link for the video call next Friday, all through Facebook Messenger. So it's pretty cool because it's a conversation back and forth. But when you think about sending emails and doing Facebook messages or whatever, or doing LinkedIn messages, think about having a conversation. And a lot of people mess up with that. They don't think about, the goal is to have somebody respond. I always tell this story. Back in 1999, we started our boat and RV dealership, and we had built up a database of about 1,000 people. And I'm like, cool. Well, this was before like constant contacts. I sent out an email announcing some stuff with our company to these 1,000 people. 600 replied. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I have to reply. And I took like 2 days to reply to all of them. Nowadays, you get like 3 people reply that say, leave me the hell alone. Right. You get a couple that say, hey, Matt, glad to see things are going good. The problem is most people have, like myself and other marketers, have ruined email because we've done it too much, too spammy, too marketing. It's all about conversations. Now, there's actually a company called Digital Marketer. Their most successful email campaign they do, B2B, is 7 words. Has no branding. It's from the CEO, Ryan Dice. It literally goes out and it's something to the effect of, is there something we can help you with today? And it just has, thanks, Ryan. No company logo, nothing. He's like, Matt, you wouldn't believe the responses it comes back. It's unbelievable. And so it's the same with your business. I mean, it might not be a case of sending out some big, long thing. It's, hey, what's happening in your business we need to know about? What's a trend you're seeing? Because all you're trying to do is get a response. Yes, sir. 2019, is there a place for marketing via the Postal Service? Direct mail. Yeah? Honestly, I think Something you're going to see coming back in the near future that nobody does anymore are mailed newsletters. I like getting them. I got one the other day from the National Restaurant Development Finance Conference. And I read through it. You don't get them anymore. You got to look at what nobody else is doing. Like, I check the mail every day for one reason. There's checks. People send me checks still. And so my wife delivers it and puts it on my desk at the house. When I go to my gym, the mail from the mailman is put on my desk on the corner. That's another big reason. Most executives get the mail. The bank statements, at least if you're doing it correctly, should be going to the owner of the company and not the accounting department, because you want to make sure there's no fraud. But most people that are making decisions still get their mail. It's just a matter of doing something different. Don't do what State Farm does and send me the same direct mail piece in an envelope that says to current resident every week for the past 3 years. But do something different. Newsletters, announcements. I still think there's a place for it. Like long term? You'd be surprised. People will click when you give them a reason. I mean, my daughter will do something when I give her a valid reason and there's an outcome that she needs in order to do it. Clicking's no different. I don't think there's as much of a fear as people think there is with digital. I mean, people are click happy. I mean, you wouldn't believe the high level conversations I have personally in Facebook Messenger automatically every day. And these are high level companies. Now, I'm not dealing with the US government, so I don't know if you guys are, and there might be a different conversation there. But I do think that there's a place for all marketing. Everything has its place. I get people tell me, oh, radio's terrible, TV's terrible, direct mail's terrible. Used correctly, none of it's terrible. It's just a matter of how it fits and how it reaches your target audience and what your budget is. But you got to look at what nobody else is doing. And a couple of things nobody's doing are video. Very few companies. Like, is any business in this room doing a video on a weekly basis? There you go. There's your number one thing. He's doing it. Number one thing you should be doing. I guarantee you none of your competitors doing it. You can have a page. A lot of people don't realize this. Like, who in here is the CEO of the company? Anybody? Okay, you're the CEO. What's your name? Greg. What's your last name? Knox. You should have a business page tomorrow created, a public figure page called Greg Knox. And you can start branding as a business page and have weekly addresses from the CEO. Talk about, hey, we got a newsletter going out this week in the mail, and here's what it's talking about. Here's what we found. We went to a trade show. You start doing that, you start getting visible. Last month, Matt Plapp, little me, 280,000 video views in 30 days. Oh, yeah. I get paid because people buy stuff. No, I don't get paid. I turn all ads off. Nobody can put an ad on my YouTube stuff. I have that turned off. And Facebook, I can't control that in stream. But no, I get paid because it makes an impact. The right people see it. No, I don't. No, anybody in business, you shouldn't be worried about that. You should be worried about, okay, how can I make an impression? Because at the end of the day, every business does better the more people that know you, like you, and trust you. And if you can get on video, if you can get on social media and come across in a manner different than anybody else, cut through the clutter. Because people watch video. There's still people watching this. Now we're down to 9 people. One of them's probably my mom. She's always on here. Hey, Mom, if you're watching. Biggest fan. Yeah, so having conversations with people, and it's like somebody the other day told me I needed to change. My public figure page I have on Facebook for my business is my daughter and son. My daughter's a cheerleader in high school. My son's a football player, and they're squaring off on a football field in their uniforms. Somebody's like, well, that's not very professional. I'm like, I'm a dad. That's who I am. I don't want to have a picture of me in a suit and all stuff. I got orange shoes on and an orange shirt, for God's sakes.
What are the things you need to stay away from putting on Facebook if you're hoping that you're going to be getting business?
The hardest stuff you can. Political, religion, and a little north humor. The stuff that might be a little north of the line of what you should be doing. It's like I've got a couple friends. I got a buddy of mine who's coming in this weekend. Mark, I hope you're watching this. He's coming. I have a conference this weekend in downtown. About 40 marketers are coming in, and he's coming in from Washington, D.C. The dude's a political junkie. he literally needs to go to like political rehab for Facebook users. He cannot stay away from it. He loves it. It's his hobby. And I tell him, I'm like, dude, you realize as much as you might not think it's a huge deal, 50% of the people you're talking to don't like what you're saying. You can't win. You can't win any side of it. And so stay away from political, stay away from religion, and it's even harder now. But one thing I'll tell you this, people don't realize. I have people all the time, I'm getting off Facebook because of all the negative. You know why the negative's on your feed? Because you're involved in the negative. Buddy of mine the other day, I'm getting off Facebook, I'm tired of seeing all these Trump and Clinton posts. I said, hey, Jordan, you want to, and I wasn't even Jordan, it was Mike. Mike, you want to know how to do it? Why? Shut up. Quit commenting on the posts. When Facebook's algorithm sees that Mike comments on every Hillary Trump post, they show you Hillary and Trump posts. When you comment on cat videos, you get cat videos. I mean, Facebook's algorithm is beautiful from the standpoint that it has 120,000 metrics on all of us. Who in here does not have a Facebook page account? You're wrong. You have one. It's called a ghost account. They know you exist. Your name is on it. It's in the back, and they know everything about you. And people can target you, not when you're on Facebook, but when you're on ESPN. Facebook has 120,000 or so metrics on every person. And so the way you use Facebook, and even Google, determines what you see. And so if you're on Facebook like me, if I go to my news feed right now, I can promise you there's 3 things on there. Motivational business stuff, stuff about digital marketing, and CrossFit. I own a CrossFit gym, I do digital marketing, and I love positive. I stay away from negative. I eliminate people. I eliminate those topics. And if you do that on Facebook, if you go through and you like and comment, give me an experiment. The next week, make a concerted effort to 5 times a day, comment and like posts from one friend or 1 or 2 friends on certain topics. And guess what your timeline will be filled with? That stuff. Me in Northern Kentucky, the big thing right now is Cub Calf. You guys all seen them. All my friends went there. I have a lot of family or a lot of friends that went there. A lot of friends that support it. My news feed's filled with it because I've supported a couple friends. I've commented and I've made comments on certain things and I've shared stuff. Facebook sees here's who I am. They see the friends I'm connected with. They see where I'm at. That fills my news feed today. So that's the biggest thing too. Is if you're thinking about that, like I hear from people, oh, I'm not on Facebook because of the negative. Dude, my timeline's filled with positive for the most part. It's just all what you do.
Along those lines, I started a new job in the middle of December. My employer runs General Construction. They have their own Facebook page, but I'm new with them, and they're primarily, Dayton market north. I'm down here in the Cincinnati market. So would I establish my version of, in order to get exposure in this marketplace for my employer, Bronze, would I attach that to my personal Facebook page? Or
so they've got a Facebook page, they're making updates, you want to get some attention to it down here.
Correct.
So the number one thing I would tell people to do, try and find a way to become Facebook friends with the decision makers in your business down here. Okay. The minute you become, like me, I am friends with probably 500 restaurant owners. I deal with restaurants. Facebook sees that, it suggests new people to me. Now I don't randomly friend people, I only friend people I have permission to friend. And so find people that you're calling on, that you're in business with, that you should be in business with. Find a way to make connection with them. Hey, do you mind if I friend you on Facebook and LinkedIn? Sure. Make that connection. Then on a weekly basis, occasionally share something from your company's page. And what I would recommend is a video, because here's the beauty of it. So let's say your company does a video and you share it and you've got something that's not sales. Like I've got friends of mine like, hey, today only $5.99. They got all these sales pitches and emojis pointing down. I'm not a big fan of that. I think if you've got to sell really hard to sell what you're selling, you probably don't have the right following, probably haven't done the right work to begin with. But every once in a while, share something your business has. And the video is great for this reason. You can retarget based off of percentage of a video view. So let's say, for example, your company does a 2-minute video and it's on general construction and maybe some of the liability around OSHA.
And we just finished a project. And we do a walkthrough, maybe showing off.
Great, yeah.
Look how good this is. Look how nice that looks.
So they have that video on their page. You share it. Hey, so proud to work with the team at XYZ Construction and help this company and tag that company. Check in at that company on there.
Sure.
Share that. Well, now all of a sudden the people you've made connections with, because you'd be surprised the number of people that you probably know and haven't talked to in 15 years, are either in the business you're in or can help you, or have a friend that is. And they're sitting at dinner with them this weekend at Ruby's having a steak, and they're like, hey, do you know anybody in this? And they're like, no, I don't. They start seeing your stuff. Yes, I do. And the cool part about that too is when you share that video versus a picture, is that if they consume that video, your business page can now run an ad and say, hey, anybody who's watched 50% or more of these videos in the past month, show them this next video. I mean, it's almost like football. So let's say last night, imagine if La Rosa's had a video during the Saints game, had a TV commercial. And they run a TV commercial, and me and my wife go, oh my gosh, La Rosa's Pizza is awesome. And we give it a thumbs up at the TV. Imagine if the next day La Rosa's could retarget me based on me doing that. You can't. Facebook, you can.
Sure.
Facebook, I watch that video, 3 seconds, 10 seconds, 25%, 50, 75, 90, 95, and 100. Like I've got ads running right now that target people who have watched 100% of 5 different videos. Because I'm like, dude, you're either my mom or you need to be doing business with me. I keep waiting for my mom to buy something. Yes, sir.
One of the, the biggest challenges in this industry is trying to find talent.
Yep.
And from what you're saying, I can't wait to figure out how to find this on YouTube. But it looks like you can get both components of the puzzle here. One is being able to find people of an age who may have the aptitude, the interest in this kind of thing, and then working people up here, parents, understanding that it's okay to make $60,000 a year, $80,000, $100,000 without a college education.
Yeah.
But so great theory. How do you put stuff like that into action?
That's one of the best parts about, and I'll say Facebook and Instagram specifically, is you can target anything. Like you say, for example, hiring. So you say, you know what? Like what I tell people, when you're creating a marketing campaign, the number one thing you should do is create your avatar. Who is this person? Everybody's heard of 700 WLW, the radio station here, right? Well, a while back, Daryl Parks was the program director. I don't think he has any, actually he's not. He had this cardboard cutout on his wall in his office that had like 20 different items about that person. That was their listener. And Bill Cunningham would have to walk in there, and he walked in with his golf spike someday, and he would look at it. And the rule was, you don't talk about anything on the air today that guy doesn't like. I think the name was Will, that Will doesn't like. And so when you think about that, it's same with Facebook. You take and create your avatar and say, okay, our ideal employee is a 42-year-old male who lives in these 7 zip codes, who's married, has 2 kids, likes Chevy, likes Mack trucks, likes Chip Foose. You can go so deep. I mean, literally, you can go so deep with the targeting. Like I got a video ad running right now for a client of ours that's at a boat show. The video has been running for about $500 for about 6 days. It's had 40,000 video views. You know why? Because we're showing it to very, 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 very specific women. Because we're trying to stress women with kids this age, get out of the house, get the kids on the water, make family memories. We picked such a focused audience that we were able to talk to a very specific person. And so on your end with now hiring, oh, it's great. I mean, you can show people, you can tell a story, you can retarget people. Like you said, you can target the parents to show, you know what, you don't need a college degree. It's kind of funny you mentioned that. I'm teaching a class at NKU right now, Northern Kentucky University. It's a high-level marketing. We're teaching my entire book I wrote to 14 students who applied for it. You know how that came about? I did a Facebook Live video July of 2017 at Chipotle in Erlanger talking about this teacher who had just shamed the girl in the line that said, how come you're not in college? Because it was her teacher and her former student. And I went live and said, you don't need college. I've got a marketing company. I've hired 14 employees. Not one of them have a degree. What I do for a living, they don't even teach in college. Well, now they do because I'm teaching the freaking class. But it's funny you mention that because there's a market out there. Because there's all this. I told my son, somebody asked me today, my son's a straight A student, my daughter's a great student. They asked about that. I said, you know what? My biggest dream would be that they would move to the beach and work at an ice cream shop for 3 or 4 years. Enjoy life. Don't get a car payment. Don't get a condo. Don't do the crap I did. Do what my buddy did. Go live in a VW van in Vail and ski for 10 years. Which he actually did that. But you can target the heck out of people. You can target the heck out of people and really fine tune because you look at your staff. How many employees do you have?
7.
7? Analyze those employees. Look at your best, look at your worst, and find out what do the best look like. And I mean deep. Hobbies, type of car they like, what kind of clothes they wear. You can find them on Facebook and then just target people like that.
That's awesome.
You're welcome. It is awesome. It's the most underused medium. It's what cracks me up. I talk to businesses. I talk to pretty big businesses pretty frequently, and I'm amazed how they're not doing it. I talked to one the other day. They're all enthralled with their radio commercials. I'm like, that's great. I used to work in radio. I love WGR. WLW is a great station. You're talking to a broad audience. I can walk in and say, I'm looking to meet my future wife. I want a woman that looks like this, 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 and this, drives this car, and all of a sudden, oh, there they are. I eliminated 100, I got the 5. Yes, sir.
So for a B2B business, $1 to $30 million in size, the social media budget is what, 30% to this, 20% to this, 10%? Can you do that for us? I mean, Google AdWords, Facebook ads.
It's tough. It all depends on the return on ad spend. It depends on what you're trying to get from it. You know, me, for example, Matt Plapp, I spend about $5,000 a month marketing. Just me. Social media, Facebook. And I've got a little YouTube and Instagram. And I've got clients of mine that are 3 to 4 times larger than me who I can't convince to spend $500. But it also comes down to I understand my metrics. Like one of my goals in the next 6 months is to get to $20,000 a month and spend. Because I'm figuring out that when I spend 5, it drives 25. And I'm trying to figure out that exact funnel. But for me, there is no, I don't think there's a percentage, at least not in my expertise, that I have seen an exact thing that you're a $3 million company, you should be spending this. Because I've got a buddy right now who will spend $250,000, I think he spent last month. And that $250,000 will generate about $275,000 in income for his company. Which sounds, okay, that's a bad investment. But the residual is what he's going after. He's going after the iceberg. He's not going after here, he's going to what's deeper. So that's probably above my pay grade.
So most people should hire someone who will work it.
Yeah.
Or versus trying to figure out your own metrics. You could spend your day living on Facebook trying to figure out who you're supposed to be targeting if you don't know what you're doing.
I have a personal trainer who works for me at my gym who I just paid the other day to train me. He knows more than me. I have a guy that professionally detailed my car when I was in Las Vegas last week. He will wash it next week. He knows how to wash the car better than me. I have an accountant, I have an attorney. I don't do anything. I am useless except for social media. And I tell business all the time. I mean, we have a restaurant chain we deal with, which has 128 locations. And we ran a campaign for one location in Cincinnati. And after 30 days, the marketing director of this company called me up and said, Matt, what did you do? Like, what do you mean? You just got more opt-ins in email for our program for that one location in 1 month than our entire franchise did in the entire last year. I said, can I tell you, can I be honest with you? She said, yeah. I said, how much did you spend this was last year, how much did you spend the last 12 months on Facebook training, specifically Facebook Messenger and ads? Well, I mean, none. Why? I spent $98,300. Me. I fly to California every other month. I go to Vegas, I go to Austin, I go to New York. I fly to conferences, I learn. My staff, we hire trainers. I've got a coach I paid $15,000 last year specifically to teach me one skill on webinars. So I'm a proponent that you hire what you don't know how to do. Now you also need to learn to some extent how to do it so that you can appreciate it. Because I can appreciate my trainer I hired because the dude is a brick wall. I've understood how hard it is to get to that brick wall in my 40s. See, I'm a proponent of hiring it because most companies fail to do that. But at the same time, I'm a proponent of people doing it before they hire it because I've got a company that just hired me and fired me. They hired us 6 months ago. They decided not to renew the contract last week. The CEO of this company has no clue about social media. He doesn't use it. He doesn't appreciate it. The stuff I showed him and his staff is stupid how efficient it is. It's stupid. Good. Sorry. Got my kids influencing me.
We get it.
And it's so efficient and it's working to the point where he's going to want to be in a year, but he's not on Facebook, he's not on Instagram, he doesn't get it. He's at Makatiwa playing golf. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, so the question was the frequency and kind of the order of it, the cadence of making posts on social media, sending emails. It's kind of like my relationship with my wife, that occasionally I can tell her something really good about me, but if I do it too often, she's just like, leave me alone. And so I look at the same way with my clients. What I tell most of the businesses I deal with is it needs to be 60-20-20. 60% of what you talk about needs to be about them. How does it affect them? You know, that's one of the biggest mistakes I see. A weight loss company I talked to the other day, and they were looking at a bunch of different things. And I said, everything you talk about is me. Why aren't you talking about the stress of being a single mother or stress of being a mom with 3 kids and a job? That's what causes the chain reaction that gets them to be clients. And they don't talk about that. So I always say 60% of what your audience wants to see. It's like the boating video. That boating video shows a mom and her kids stressed out of her mind. And then it shows the mom and the kids in a tube floating in the lake. They're not buying the boat. They're buying the relationship. They're buying the times with their family. 20% should be kind of about who you are, like a testimonial. Hey, just got this testimonial from Joe, and he talked about his building, how it was under budget, and it was a month early, which never happens, but month early. Not you. And this is why we do what we do. So it's kind of tooting your horn, but it's also kind of highlighting them. And then 20% should be, hey, here's what we do. Here's what we do. Here's how you can engage us. Let's go from there. Frequency. I've seen businesses have success with 1 time a day. I've seen them with 20 times a day. It depends on how good your content is. I personally do probably 15 live videos a day between this page, my personal account, LinkedIn, YouTube, and then 3 groups I have. But I found somebody, I had a consultant the other day told me I need to get offline a little less because I'm on. He's like, you're putting too much content out, and so you've got to kind of look at that. But emails depends on your industry, but typically most companies 2 to 4 times a month. But again, look at your rates. The greatest part about social media is you can look at it. Email, you can look at it. I was just looking at the stats for a restaurant chain we deal with yesterday. A year before we started our program in their business, their organic reach was averaging about 400 to 600 every day. The 6 months since we've been doing it, it's at 1,800 average a day. Because what our stuff, our ads and the things we're doing are driving their engagement up, and they're getting better at posting. So you can look at the stats and you can tell, is this working, is this not working? Welcome. Yes, sir. Yeah. I mean, there's a couple tools you can use on Facebook for finding employees. I mean, number one, they've got their job boards, they got things of that nature. Number two, I'm a big proponent of nurturing. I run on a daily basis about 10 different ads for my company that are nurturing people for my brand. There's no sales pitch. There's one on there that's my story. There's one like the video I shot yesterday with Els in Belgium. The minute I got off the phone with her, there is zero benefit for me to market that video. It actually is helping her business, but I'm marketing it because I'm trying to show a different side to my audience and trying to make sure I'm in front of them in a different manner. And so from that standpoint, the best way you're going to get employees, in my opinion, and what most people don't want to do, it's the long game. It's coming up with a strategy of showing why would somebody want to work here, what's the cool part. Like today I met with Kona Ice, and one of Kona Ice's biggest things they want to do is get more corporate events for their snow cone trucks. And they said, Matt, you wouldn't believe it, the number of companies that they love, that the employees appreciate it so much. So if I was a company trying to do that, I would highlight those things. And not from a standpoint of, hey, here's how great it is to work here. It's like, hey, it's Matt. We're at the company, Kona Ice Day. We do this once a month. Can't wait. I'm getting blueberry and cherry. See, I got to go, Facebook. And then I would run that to my ideal audience just to let them see it. And they're going to be like, who is this guy? Who is this place? What am I seeing this for? But then all of a sudden, when it comes to a point where you can start seeing, okay, how much they engage, and then you start putting some things in place where it's like, hey, if you're seeing this video, that means you've probably seen 3 or 4 of our other videos based on the targeting and advertising. Are you looking for a job? Because we're looking for great people, and here's what we do. That's the long play. Most businesses don't have the patience to do the long play. They want to do something like this company that just fired me. They want to do something and see a result tomorrow. And I'm like, the reason you're in the problem now is because you haven't done the work the past 2 years. Does that make sense? But then there's also job boards. I mean, Facebook does have good job boards. You can go on there. I'm a proponent. if somebody's looking for a job, there's probably a reason, for the most part. Most of my friends that are always looking for jobs, there's a reason they're always looking for jobs. And that's what I've seen in the job boards. Anybody I've ever hired for my company right now, there's 12 of us, none of them were looking. We just happened to have a conversation. On the way up here, I had a conversation with a guy that in the next 3 months, he's probably watching this, is hopefully going to come on board. He's not looking for a job, but there's a good fit, and we've been having a conversation. Yes, ma'am. Yep. Yeah, so the question to me was, how do you come up with great content? Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Everybody wants to have the next great viral video. It's trying to create a viral video is tough. Unless you got a friend that wants to fall off a balcony and like, oh, look at that. Nobody wants to fall off a balcony. The cool thing about content, now your business might be a little different, but one thing they say in my business, there's a thing called insider trading, which is against the law and just stocks, but it's legal in YouTube. If I go to YouTube right now and I type in restaurant marketing Facebook Messenger, YouTube's going to show me typically the top 10 to 20 choices that are already being searched. And so right there is my thing. Okay, here's what somebody's already searching. YouTube just gave me the intel. You go to Google and type in a couple phrases. You can go to the Google, what do they call it, keyword search tool. Most of that stuff will tell you what people are searching. But YouTube's a gold mine, because you'd be amazed at the videos that are on YouTube that you would never think would get engagement. I mean, I saw a video the other day about a very specific thing in the steel business, which had like 20,000 views in 6 months. Okay, if that's got 20,000 views in 6 months, that's a topic somebody's looking for. Why? Content is tough though. I mean, the biggest thing I'm fortunate that my topic's pretty simple from a standpoint of restaurant marketing and ad agencies wanting to grow, but you've got to look deep at like your website. What are people clicking? What are they spending a lot of time on? Send out surveys. I mean, I had a client recently, we sent out a $100 gift card to Ruby's. Hey, anybody that fills this out gets a chance for a $100 gift card. We got like 400 replies. There was 5 questions. Don't do 40. It was 5 questions. What's the biggest problem in your business? What would you love to do this year? What's the biggest goal in your family life? You get that stuff back, you take that, then you start looking. The other aspect of it too is look at the content that gets attention once you start producing it. You know, I always tell people, like this conference I've got this weekend downtown, there's 35 to 40 of me's there. Scary. Hopefully none of them wear orange. But they're all going to be there. They're all real similar to me. And the one thing most of them have always had a fear to do, and they don't do a lot of, is video. And they're like, man, I look stupid, I sound stupid, I always mess up, I touch my face, I say I say like. I said, I sucked at video 10 years. I found a video of mine from 2010. It was terrible. The reason I got better was I kept doing video. And I'm comfortable now to go live anywhere. It doesn't bother me. I was live in the car on the way here. Cup holder, don't look at the camera, drive, get stopped, turn it off. But that's one way you're going. It is. Anybody that's watched this will tell you, I literally, on a daily basis, this past summer, I bought my daughter a Jeep. And she couldn't drive at Kentucky because she had to have an adult with her. So when she was at school, I would drive her Jeep. And so I had the dashboard was perfect to have a phone on it. And so I'd put live, take off, and talk for 20 minutes on there. Then when I stopped, go. It got people engaged. It had conversations. It got me an audience. Best news ever, she can't drive a stick now. She just couldn't tackle it, so I bought her an automatic, so I now have a Jeep. It worked out. But content is tough, and that's the biggest thing. It takes producing content to figure out what's going to resonate. And you know, my videos, I go on, like I don't do much on my YouTube channel for a specific reason, because I could put money behind every video on my YouTube channel right now and get 20,000 views. It's not going to tell me what's going to get organic. I use Facebook for paid, and I use YouTube to kind of see, okay, what's getting attention. Like I've got a video that's been up for like 5 months now, and it got 2,500 views without a single dollar driven to it. That tells me that I've got something correct there in the keywords, in the name of it, in the content, and I can look and see how long people view it. You're gonna have to cut me off too, by the way. You might have to throw something at me if you're done. And I'll hang out and talk afterwards, but if anybody's got any more questions. One more.
What's the right length of video?
Right length of the video, great question. And by the way, are you the Doug Bolton from the Courier? Okay. Or I guess used to be the Courier. The right length of the video. So number one, the first 6 seconds are optimal. I did a video, whenever I do videos, for example, targeting a certain audience, like restaurant owners or agencies, I have something that first 6 seconds that grabs their attention. I'll be like, today I was at Brass Tap in Florence, had a meeting with them, did a video right in front with their logo there. And within 2 seconds, I called out who I'm talking to, restaurant owners, restaurant operators. Here's how $15,000 in every quarter should be coming into your restaurant or something you're missing. What you want to avoid is anything, in my mind, over 2 minutes, unless you're going to go 10 or 15. People typically won't watch, like this video, majority of the views are going to be on a laptop. Everybody's going to watch this video for, I don't have a time on here, probably 30 minutes on their phone typically. But 2 minutes is a great time because most of us, if we see a topic that makes sense, and you're like, oh, I got 2 minutes. I had somebody the other day tag me in a video and it was 13 minutes, and I'm like, bro, I don't have 13 minutes right now. So I saved it. I'm eventually going to go back to it, and I'll probably forget about it, never watch it. So 1 to 2 minutes are great, but at the same time, I've had 60-minute videos. And there's a guy named Ty Lopez who's really big in the digital marketing space. You either love him or you hate him. He has a thing, he goes live every day for 60 minutes. And he says, here's the reason I go live. He has like literally 7, he's got this bizarre tripod that has like 7 cameras on it, phones, and one's on Instagram, they're all live in different mediums. And he's got a staff working the comments, so it's not actually him. And he gets paid because companies, he endorses affiliate links. So he might be on there saying Constant Contact. Hey, Constant Contact's unbelievable. He'll be talking about email marketing. Go, you know what? I love Constant Contact. By the way, hey, let me drop a link in here for Constant Contact. One of his staff drops it in the comment. Well, if you're 40 minutes into watching Ty on a video, you're going to click whatever link he puts in there. You're buying into what he's selling. And that's what he said. He's up to a point now where he'll have like 2,000 or 3,000 views at any time in these videos. And he's like, if people are watching, you might as well have conversations. So it's, in my opinion, it's either that 1 or 2 minute or it's longer, and plan it on the long play. Tell you the one thing I love about this, and this will kind of go over a lot of people's heads, but it'll tell you how easy this is. When I get done with this video, I can literally download it to my phone, and I have a sequence. It's a company called Zapier. It's an automation tool for digital marketing, for digital. I can upload that video to my YouTube channel. The minute I upload it to my YouTube channel, with, well, I guess 5 minutes in, it'll send a message to Zapier. Zapier will then take that video and add it to my website, to my blog automatically. And then if it's under 10 minutes, it'll add it to LinkedIn. So like literally on a daily basis, I do 3 to 4 videos that'll be 2 to 10 minutes. And I'll shoot the video live on Facebook. I'll download it, I'll click a button, and within 10 minutes, it's already on Facebook, it'll be on YouTube, LinkedIn, and my website, without me doing one single thing except upload to YouTube. And then I've got also at the same time, it emails my assistant, and my assistant, because it adds it to Google Drive, it adds a link into a Google Sheet. She gets an email and says, Tanya, Matt uploaded a new video. She takes it, she knows what 10 or 15 groups to distribute that on over the next 60 days on Facebook and LinkedIn. So then she has it, she goes in there, does it automatically, and it's done. So I can now distribute 1, 2, 3 little videos like that quickly. And that's one of the biggest problems with video is that it's tough. You want to get done, you want to edit it. I do live for one reason. You know why I do live? I have to edit it. It all goes back about 2 years ago. Majority of my videos back then were recorded. And I have a green room. I have 2 green rooms at my house. I would do videos. I got an office specifically built for videos. And I would sit there. I'll never forget one day, no lie, from 10 p.m. until 2 a.m., I sat in my green room recording a 2-minute video.
Right.
You record, oh crap, I don't like that. Record, oh, I don't like that. And editing. I got done and my whole body hurt. I was done. The next day I said, you know what? Go on Facebook Live. I don't care about how pretty it looks. I don't care if it doesn't work this way or that way. I'm gonna go live because one, I can do this. I can hit download and distribute it. I don't have to edit it, put logos. Now we do that sometimes. We'll take those videos, download them, make them look cooler. Last tip, and then we'll be done. And I can hang around and talk as long as you guys want. One thing about videos like this that's unique, people don't realize, organic content gets better play in Facebook's algorithm. They don't want Procter & Gamble's commercial that is so staged and lit perfectly and everybody looks perfect walking down the aisle and looks all great and there's no camera movement. They don't want that. That's a commercial. When Matt Plapp walks around with a phone in front of a restaurant and it's wobbly, their algorithm can tell the movement. Their algorithm can tell if I upload a picture, like we did a test a year and a half ago with Dickey's Barbecue. We uploaded a picture that we had from Dickey's, this great looking sandwich, the barbecue. It was perfectly staged. We then took a picture off of Instagram that a customer did with him biting the sandwich and sauce on his face. 10-to-1 return on investment. Ad exposure, cost of ad, opt-ins, redemptions, all from a free picture from Instagram, because the algorithm knows this is a staged picture. This is an ad. They don't want, Facebook doesn't, and Instagram don't want to be ads. They want to be a place that people have fun and engage. And if we all load it with ads or load it with perfectly produced videos, you lose that.
Does it make sense to start out by doing things that are more fun, to get comfortable with it, so that your Facebook friends are viewing it versus it being totally business driven? And I ask this because a friend of mine started a real estate business in Raleigh, and she's now like #1. And the first thing she started doing was, where in the world is one of her people? She did it once a week. People would get on and see this quick video of him, and you could win a Starbucks card.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out where in the triangle he was hanging out that day. And it got people looking for it every week. It had nothing to do with her real estate business.
And that's gold. That's because she's talking about what her customers want. Most businesses fail to do that. Most businesses, when they produce content, they produce it for them versus producing it what people want. I always tell, whenever we consult with companies, especially restaurants are a little different, but specific brands, like people like the pontoon boat. Nobody buys a pontoon boat, like especially guys don't want a pontoon boat. They want the wife wants memories. Like me, I grew up in a family that we did all sorts of outdoor stuff. I don't remember the shoes or clothes my parents bought me. I remember the camping trip from Kentucky to Palm Springs, California and back that took 3 weeks. So you've got to figure out why they want that. In her case, she wants to eventually reach women who want to buy houses. Well, she has to engage women. They don't care about a house now. But if she engages them on these contests about where they're at, hopefully they went to Chapel Hill, my favorite part down there, and then all of a sudden they engage, they become part of her persona, they like her. Then when she puts a message out that is like, hey, guess what? We're having a big open house, we got this new thing. Now they pay attention. Cool. That's all I got. I'll hang around afterwards. Thank y'all.
Thank you.